Today let's talk about something that happens in almost every relationship, but most of us don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. We all know big fights, betrayals, or major life changes can kill relationships. But what if I said to you that love doesn't die from one huge explosion? Sometimes it dies quietly, one tiny cut at a time. I call these paper cuts in relationships, those small everyday moments that sting but on their own seem just not that huge of a deal. Think about it. Have you ever felt hurt by something your partner said, yet shrugged it off because it was too petty to bring up? Perhaps they snapped at you when they had a long day, forgot an important date, or dismissed something that was important to you. It wasn't a fight, it wasn't intentional, but still, it left this little wound. But add one little paper cut at a time, day after day, week after week, and watch your relationship slowly bleed to death. Imagine getting a small paper cut on your finger. It stings, but you ignore it. Then you get another and another. Soon, even the slightest touch hurts. That's what happens in relationships. Paper cuts are the small, accumulated emotional cuts that gnaw away at love, trust, and intimacy. They look something like this: a sarcastic remark instead of a supportive response. An eye roll when your partner shares something important. Forgetting something meaningful, such as a special date or a promise. Not fully listening to them as they talk about their day. A small, dismissive reply when what they want is comfort. Now, none of these sound like the kind of issues that would end a relationship, right? That's why they fly under the radar. But over time, these small cuts add up. Love doesn't die in one moment, it fades when it stops feeling safe, supportive, and appreciated. The biggest danger of paper cuts, they're easy to ignore. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. They didn't mean it. I'm just overreacting. But here's what's going on underneath, really. 1. Emotional distance grows. Each little paper cut draws you just a little backward. Perhaps you stop sharing things to avoid another dismissive reaction, or just hesitate before opening up. Over time, emotional connection weakens. 2. Trust starts to crack. Trust is not just about loyalty, which is that you feel safe and valued. Repeated disappointment on small things has the effect of trust being eroded bit by bit. 3. Intimacy dies. The lack of emotional connection culminates into a decline in physical affection, wherein meaningful conversations don't find many takers. A relation ceases to become one, and gradually sounds like routine rather than being special. 4. Resentment builds up. One day, you find yourself keeping score. You remember every small hurt, every broken promise. Even if you never say it out loud, resentment starts to replace love. 5. The slow fade begins. Unlike a dramatic breakup, paper cuts don't cause a sudden end. Instead, one day, one or both of you wake up and realize the love just isn't there anymore. Mostly, these are not intentional acts. They do happen when life becomes too busy, when stress takes precedence, and we fail to be as mindful of our way of relating to each other. Some of the common ones are stress and exhaustion. A very long day has taken most of the day's patience away, taking each other for granted. The more the time goes by, the more you will feel like they know you love them, so you won't make as much of an effort. Unresolved issues of the past. If there's some old wound that never healed, it will resurface in these little ways. Bad communication habits. Sometimes we barely realize how our tone or words hurt somebody. Emotional neglect. Love takes work. When one or both partners stop doing those little acts of love, the bond weakens. The good news, paper cuts can heal, but only if both partners recognize them and make an effort to change. Here's how. 1. Notice the small hurts. If something stings, don't ignore it. Even small things count when they happen over and over. 2. Talk about it gently. Bottling it up won't help. Rather, say something like, "Hey, when you dismissed what I said earlier, it kinda hurt. I just wanted to share, not be shut down." 3. Listen without defensiveness. If your partner shares, "That's what hurt for me," do not jump up to say, "That's not what I meant." Try instead, "I didn't realize that hurt you. I'm sorry." 4. Apologize sincerely. An honest "I'm sorry, I'll try to be more mindful" will work wonders. 5. Be more mindful during daily interactions. Small things, like saying thank you, maintaining eye contact, or actually listening, could prevent the next paper cuts. 6. Allow time for connecting emotionally. Squeeze in real conversations, physical touch, and appreciation amidst all the chaos. Love needs day-to-day nurturing. 7. Accentuate the positive. If resentment has begun to set in, begin to focus on what you appreciate about your partner rather than what they are doing wrong. The bottom line, love is in the details. It isn't the big gesture love. It isn't the getaway to a romantic hill station surprise and anniversaries that spell of love. Actually, love is in how you make each other feel on small and day-to-day aspects. It's not the big fights that break any relationship. A single battle cannot do what every minor scar being built inside and unloved has managed. That's where every listening, your style of talking, every daily coming comes to play, to keep love going on. Take then one moment to reflect upon the realization of whether one is giving their partner paper cuts without realizing it. And if one has been in such little stings themselves, instead of waiting to get bigger, talk about them and heal. Protect your love earned. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever experienced these small paper cuts in your relationship? How did you deal with them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.